Is he the most exploited golfer in history? At 76, Larry Nelson is revealing his secrets. We'll get into the shocking story from the world of golf that has gone unnoticed for years. The truth behind what really happened to him during his career. Are the memory lane on this legend's remarkable career. Larry Nelson is a longtime resident of Georgia and a very accomplished professional golfer. He has won a number of events on the PGA Tour, including 3 major championships and a total of 19 on the Champions Tour. There have been 3 Ryder Cup teams that he has been a part of. Both the World Golf Hall of Fame and the Georgia Golf Hall of Fame elected him in 1990 and 2006, respectively. Following his 1971 professional golfing debut, Nelson initially avoided competitive play in favor of working as an assistant to the illustrious Bert Seagraves at Kennesaw's Pine Tree Country Club. Although Nelson was content with his position at Pine Tree and merely wanted to advance to head eventually, he was persuaded to try the mini tours by other club members. The Nelsons were able to leave their careers and relocate to Florida thanks to their financial support. Nelson scored a level par and earned $63 in his professional tournament debut. He went on to win 2 titles in 1972 and 1973. He qualified on the PGA Tour in 1974 after playing his way through the qualifying school. Starting with the 1979 Jackie Gleason Inverrary Classic, Nelson won 10 events in 23 years on the main circuit. In 1983, he defeated world-renowned player Tom Watson by 1 stroke in the U.S. Open after shooting a final round of 67. He also won the PGA Championship in 1981 and 1987. After regulation play ended in a playoff, he beat another top golfer, Lanny Wadkins, at the 1987 PGA. On his home course, Nelson won the Atlanta Classic in 1980 and again in 1988. His presence at the Atlanta event elevated it from a minor stop on the circuit to a prominent one. With an impressive 9-3-1 record, he competed in the Ryder Cup on 3 separate occasions. In addition to his 2 terms as a player, he was elected to the PGA Policy Board twice. Nelson became a member of the Champions Tour in 1997, the year he turned 50. He had 19 victories from 1997 to 2004, with 6 of those coming in 2000, the year he was named Senior Player of the Year and earned $2.7 million, the second highest season total on the Champions Tour. So what was it that Larry Nelson has kept quiet about all these years? The biggest injustice in PGA history. Well, it turns out Nelson faced more than just competition on the course. Behind the scenes, he dealt with betrayal, sabotage, and being overlooked, deliberately. Despite the recent excitement around the Ryder Cup, which was postponed by a year because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we can't help but dwell on one of the greatest injustices in the history of professional golf and the Ryder Cup. Over the years, the U.S. national team has had some great, some mediocre, and some never was captains. Larry Nelson is an example of the second group, and the PGA of America should be embarrassed about it. Aside from his heroic service in the American military, Larry Nelson is best known for his stellar PGA Tour career and stellar Ryder Cup record. At the 1979 Ryder Cup, he and Lanny Wadkins were undefeated 4-0. With the pairing of Molinari and Fleetwood in the 2018 Ryder Cup in Paris, just one other Ryder Cup side in history has scored such a feat. As far as we can tell, Larry Nelson was never considered for the role of Ryder Cup captain. While discussing the selection process and its reasoning in an essay published by Stan Autry in 2012, Nelson was entirely forthright. "It was always a mystery to me," he said. "I played on 3 Ryder Cup teams, and 2 of the captains I had, Billy Casper in 1979 and Dave Marr in 1981, were not really playing on the tour anymore. I feel like their decisions were much more effective because they weren't based on friendships or relationships. Sometimes it can be positive." He continued by saying, in response to the question about his age, which is 65, "It's not like a lot of us are out of the game and don't know what's going on. We still love the game. We love to compete. Inside our minds, we're just as competitive as we were 30 or 40 years ago. Our physical bodies aren't quite as good, But I don't have to arm wrestle anybody. All I have to do is put together a team and get a team prepared. I don't think age or actually being part of the tour is a detriment at all. It would have been reasonable for the PGA of America to have extended a captaincy offer to Larry Nelson due to his impressive resume, which includes a 9-3-1 record in the Ryder Cup, 2 PGA championships, and the title of United States Open champion. Nelson also defeated Seve Ballesteros 3-2. The PGA of America and the Ryder Cup Committee have committed one of their most monumental blunders and injustices ever with today. In his recent interviews, Nelson has opened up about the lack of recognition he received despite his achievements. Many of his peers were baffled when the PGA of America consistently failed to include him in key events. It seemed that no matter how much he accomplished, he was never fully embraced by the golf establishment. Nelson's exclusion from the Ryder Cup captaincy in the early 90s, despite being one of the most successful American players in Ryder Cup history. Nelson won all his matches in 1979 and 1981 and was widely respected for his composure and leadership. Yet he was passed over in favor of other players, some with far less impressive records. Many believe this snub was politically motivated, with rumors swirling that Nelson's quiet, introverted nature didn't sit well with the powers that be in golf. Some even suggested that his non-traditional path to golf, being a Vietnam War veteran who started late, made him an outsider. Despite the injustice he faced, he still managed to be calm in the face of adversity. Throughout his career, Nelson faced a steady stream of obstacles, from being overlooked by the golf establishment to dealing with the politics that came with not fitting the traditional mold of a golf superstar. While many athletes might have lashed out or sought revenge, Nelson chose a different path, one of silent perseverance. Instead of complaining or causing a stir, he continued to focus on his game. Military experience played a big role in how he managed stress and frustration. Having served in Vietnam, Nelson knew the value of keeping a level head. He once said, "After experiencing war, the challenges on the golf course seemed manageable." The key element that helped him rise above the struggles was his strong faith. A devout Christian, Nelson often turned to his beliefs during difficult times, finding solace and perspective. He viewed his setbacks not as punishments, but as tests of character. Rather than let the politics of golf or being passed over for recognition weigh him down, Nelson believed that everything happened for a reason. He wasn't chasing fame or the spotlight. For him, success meant playing the game with integrity and giving his best effort regardless of who was watching. In fact, his calm demeanor on the course became a trademark. While other players might get frustrated or lose their cool, Nelson had a reputation for maintaining his composure even in the most high-pressure situations. This quiet strength was something his peers respected deeply. Another remarkable aspect of Nelson's approach was his ability to stay focused on the long game, both literally and figuratively. He knew that consistency, hard work, and patience would eventually pay off, even if it didn't happen right away. Nelson's philosophy was simple: control what you can and don't worry about the rest. When he was left out of the Ryder Cup captaincy or passed over for other honors, Nelson didn't lash out publicly. Instead, he quietly continued to refine his skills, win tournaments, and let his results speak for themselves. His victory is a perfect example of his ability to keep pushing forward, even when the odds were stacked against him. And while the golf world may have taken years to fully appreciate him, there's no doubt now that Larry Nelson's impact on the game will be felt for generations to come. We hope you like this video. If you want more of these contents, be sure to subscribe to be ahead of the latest in golf.